Today we're going to talk about the 5 classes of nutrients as they are needed for our animals. This is what we're going to use to study for our feeds part of our 4-H livestock skill-a-thon. All of our animals need 5 nutrients, 5 basic categories of nutrients to get through every day. Water is by far the most important nutrient when it comes to our animals. Water is what they need in the biggest quantity, and it's also considered a limiting nutrient. That just means that if the quantity of water is limited, that they will consume less of everything else. For example, if it's a hot day out and our animals do not have access to any water, they will stop eating. The next nutrient that we'll talk about is energy. And energy comes in 2 forms, in the form of carbohydrates and fats. Some examples of carbohydrates are grains, such as oats, wheat, and barley. Now here I have symbolized energy in the form of this fuel tank, because in our cars, the fuel is the energy that it needs to get through every day. And the same is true for our livestock. The feeds that they consume is the energy, and the carbohydrates and the fat give them that energy that they don't get from the other classes. Some of the fats would be usually come in the form of oils, such as linseed oil, soybean oil, and those types of oils from other grains. And then we use the byproducts of the grains to give them the other nutrients they need. Now another source of energy is also sugar, and sometimes you'll find this in the form of molasses, liquid molasses or dry molasses. Anything used to sweeten a feed usually contains sugar, and that is also a carbohydrate source. The next class is proteins, and I'm symbolizing proteins today by using these Lego blocks. The building blocks of proteins are called amino acids, and you can't see it, but I've put little labels on my Legos that symbolize amino acids. And amino acids have little names that usually end in INE, like lysine, threonine, methionine. There's one that's kind of an exception to that rule, and that's tryptophan. But all of those amino acids are the building blocks of our proteins, and without the amino acids, we would not have the proteins. So we have those smaller parts that make up the big proteins, and then the big proteins are what make the muscles in the animal, which is what we're after. We want the animal to have lots of muscle because it's our meat animal, and the muscle is what we're consuming as the market animal grows. So the building blocks of proteins are amino acids, and proteins are essential for muscle growth. Minerals are also an important class of nutrients. Minerals come in the form of things like magnesium, zinc, copper, iron, sodium, biotin, calcium, phosphorus. All of these are examples of minerals. I have them symbolized here as blocks. And these usually work together, and they build on each other to help all of our organs function the way they're supposed to. They help to maintain vital body functions. But however, they need usually something to work with them, and they usually work in conjunction with vitamins, our next class. Vitamins are our last class of nutrients. Vitamins come in 2 forms. They come in fat-soluble and water-soluble. I have here symbolizing the fat-soluble vitamins is this dump truck, because it needs the structure of fat to carry these vitamins through the body. The 2 water-soluble vitamins are the vitamin B complex and vitamin C. And these are symbolized by boats because they need water to move these vitamins through the body. Now, because our body stores fat, we need vitamins A, D, E, and K in less quantities than we need our water-soluble vitamins. Our bodies lose water every day, and we have to consume water every day. So these constantly need to be replaced. Although both are vitally important for many things, and we need both every day. We usually have to supplement vitamins into our diet to make sure that we get what we need, because our body cannot make these things on their own. Now, the reason that these are vehicles, I have them symbolized as vehicles, is because they usually work best when they've got some other nutrients on board with them. For instance, these minerals that I have here as examples. Calcium and phosphorus both work really well with vitamin D. They need to be combined with vitamin D in order for the body to move them and use them effectively. So my dump truck can, as a fat-soluble vitamin, can move vitamins or the minerals calcium and phosphorus through the body effectively. Vitamin C works really well with zinc. Zinc can easily be transported, especially if vitamin C was a little bit bigger boat, but it could easily be transported through the body because it's a water-soluble vitamin. And lastly, vitamin B is one that works really well with a mineral in the mineral biotin. Biotin works with the vitamin B complex vitamins and easily moves through the body because it's a water-soluble vitamin. So our 5 classes of nutrients, when we're talking about animal feeds, are water, energy, proteins, minerals, and vitamins. And always remember that water is the most important and is always the limiting nutrient.